evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome. Islam to all the Moors and Shalawama. This is our final lesson out of the Gospel and the Zodiac. All right? This is the final lesson out of the Gospel and the Zodiac, the secret truth about JC, the Christ figure. The author, again, is the Reverend Bill Darlington. All right? If y'all want this book, you can get the free PDF in the description area of this video. If you want to buy it, I saw it on Amazon. The price is very affordable. In fact, there's another version. I guess he has an updated version. So y'all can go buy it on Amazon if y'all want it. All right? So congratulations to all of you who have stuck with me from the beginning of the course and completed the entire book. Congratulations to you. But it doesn't stop here. You have to continue learning, right? You must continue learning. Let me see what I can do to get that light. Get that light out. Lights can be annoying when you watch a video. Okay. All right. I'm trying to block it. All right, y'all. So let's pick it up. This should be a relatively short lesson. I'm happy to finally complete this book. Move on. All right, so Pisces, page 23. In review, the main incidents of Pisces are betrayal, suffering, sacrifice, death, and resurrection. So we should see all of these stories in both the Zodiac and in the Gospel. Okay? The historical or biographical JC, the Christ figure. That Gospel, not the original Gospel. Okay? Which Gospel? Mark. All right? Luke and Matthew wrote their Gospels heavily based upon Mark. And then John, he just did something totally, he went someplace else with it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you gotta take the whole course, all right? Then you'll find out. Okay, so the zodiacal keywords, these are keywords that indicate which zodiac sign the verse is that has these zodiacal keywords in it. So we again should see these zodiacal keywords in the zodiac sign itself, right? The description of the zodiac sign, its characteristics, etc. And we should also see it in the gospel stories. Okay? So for Pisces, it's self-sacrifice, hidden things, dreams, suffering, compassion, secret enemies, self-undoing, and deception. Okay? So let's see what we can find on the self-undoing. All right? That was the one that I don't remember seeing, self-undoing. Okay? So let's see if we can find that. Self-undoing. Everything else we saw. Okay? So let's go to Pisces. Y'all like and share the video. Share the video. Do y'all know that I get a report, like it's analytics. I can tell if people are sharing the video. The analytics tell me. Okay? The analytics tell me. Which means that if the same number, I know how many people watch the video, at least according to their analytics. So I know how many are sharing, or if there is sufficient cooperation with me to continue doing this. Okay, if there's no cooperation, there's no point for me to continue doing it. Right? That's pretty obvious. If people won't even share a video or like a video, but they come and they come and they take, but they don't give. Okay, so content creators can tell what their audience is doing. Okay, so there's no way you could come to Zion Law School YouTube channel and not learn. There's no way. Impossible. Because the information that I'm giving on this YouTube channel, you really cannot get anyplace else, at least not directly given to you the way I give it to you. I'm not speaking in codes or dripping it to you, right? I'm giving it to you. Just like if you were in a classroom. And I'm not doing what a lot of professors will do. I remember not in my undergraduate coursework, I went to a HBCU for undergraduate. But when I got to the master's level and graduate level, medical school and training and all of that, oh, you get professors, they don't want you to know. They will talk around a topic. Okay, they won't talk about the topic or give you insights into the topic, but they'll talk around it because they don't want you to know. They want you to fail. All right? And you get some real ornery, disgusting people, like I had in my physics, my physics, not physics, my, what course was that? Physiology, my physiology professor. He was a Polish dude. And he did his training in the US, then he went back to Poland. Right? Of all my professors, he was the only one who had gone to study and train in the US. This dude, this little peon, low life, I got like 90, high 90s on his physiology exam, and he got mad. He got mad, accused me of cheating, the whole 9 yards, and so you get some peon, simple-minded, trifling people like that when you get involved in education. All right, see, education, y'all, is extremely valuable. Now, you may not appreciate it, you may not be willing to pay for it, but there are other people who pay big money for it and who will go to extreme lengths to keep you from getting it. Even put themselves at risk, their income and their reputation, because they don't want you to get it. Okay? So whether you appreciate this or you don't, if you don't appreciate education, well, then that's, what can anybody do for you? All right. But going back to that professor, he gave me hell. But in the end, everything worked out for me. But it was a good experience for me. Right? See, I took a lot of losses in business and in education. I took a lot of losses. But I had to learn that just because you earn something, just because you earn it and you deserve it, does not mean you will get it. No, does not mean you will get it. You need to have the power and the influence to take it. Earning it is not enough. Not at all. All right? Not at all. See, a lot of y'all, a lot of y'all are used to being treated poorly. You have a low mental gender, specifically low mental masculine energy. You don't even realize you're being pushed around. Okay? But it is about taking. In other words, enforcing. First, you need to be aware, you need to know, and then you need to have a high masculine mental energy. We're talking Hermetic laws, right? And so that has to do with nationality, jurisdiction, and willpower. Okay, so it is that will, that masculine energy will, composed of everything I just said, that never changes, the great I am, okay, the awareness that I exist. Y'all see the relationship between this and the Tetragrammaton, the so-called Father? I am really means I be, which is what? I exist. Right, y'all? And it's always emphatic. Go check it in, go check the root word, Strong's number 1961. Y'all go check that. Okay, this is the root for the Tetragrammaton. If you don't know what I mean by root, subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath class, okay, so you can get an education. Everybody needs to know the Book of the Law and Ancient Ibaryath. Why? Because we've all been influenced. We've all been influenced by the Bible. So the Book of the Law is the source of everything in the Bible. Everything is supposed to be consistent with the Book of the Law. Okay? So what do we need to do? First, we need to understand natural law. We need to break the spell, the religious spell that you're under. And the best way to do that is to go right into that document and see the evidence yourself. But you need to learn the language to do it, which takes time, energy, effort, commitment, dedication, etc. No one can do it for you but you. All I can do is offer you the class. So it's a 101 Ancient Ibaryath class, all right? It's a streaming class. You can access it 24/7. Or you can come to my live class, 506 The Curses course, every Saturday at 10 a.m. Okay, where I go into it and I actually show you. I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking around it. I'm not talking in such a way to try to keep you from understanding and then telling the other students, the other scholars, to come to my office on a certain day so that I can tell them. See, again, the concept of the inner house and the outer house. See, this happens at the graduate level. It might happen if you go to some of these hybrid institutions. I went to a HBCU, so it didn't happen like that with me. My professors were, some were Moors from North America, Moorish Americans, but they were not, they didn't know who they are. They were black. Many of them were from Africa, Nigeria mainly, Sudan. Two of my favorite professors, actually my favorite professor was Dr. Lackey from Sudan. He looked Asian. He was very dark, had Asian eyes. Okay. Literally had Asian eyes. And that was an eye-opener for me. Because most of us associate Asian eyes with China. No. He was Sudanese. As dark can get. Very nice person to me. Okay? But anyway, let me not go off too much. Also professors from Southeast Asia. So Dr. Sri was a good guy to me too. Dr. Sri was a good guy to me too. He was from Sri Lanka. Okay? All right. So education is something to be wanted, desired, and valued. And you need to give equal exchange for it. Now that's the truth, okay? And there are people, like I said, who don't want you to have it. But in my videos, in my presentations, I don't do that. I give you the information directly. I tell you directly. All right? So I know for a fact there's no education like online. I'm not aware of any. There's none like I give you. Now, some of y'all have been so damaged, so mentally damaged, that you need to watch a video, a movie or a documentary style video. Otherwise, your attention span tells you to turn the channel. You get bored. After 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you're bored. And you turn. Why are you like that? That's not normal, especially for an adult. Y'all know in Vietnam, elementary school children, their classes is 1.5 hours each. Yeah, they have elementary school children. A class is 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours. They sit there and they learn for 1.5 hours. But many of you adults can't sit down and listen for 20 minutes, let alone an hour. So what happened to you? You've been conditioned. You've been conditioned. So take your mind back. Stop complaining. Stop complaining about reading and talking. Okay? That is not a good place to be mentally, where you cannot learn unless you're watching a video. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Why do you think YouTube is focusing on YouTube Shorts? Well, because they want to destroy your attention. They want to destroy your mind even further by conditioning you to have a 30-second to 1 minute attention span. Meaning that what? No matter what content that somebody puts on YouTube, if it's good content, if it's more than 1 or 2 minutes, you can't sit there and watch it. So they are crippling you. Yeah, crippling you. And you're allowing it. So this is an example of someone else's masculine mental energy. They are exerting their eye on you. Their eye on your meat. Their eye on your meat. Their eye is what? The masculine mental energy. Their will, packaged in the form of shorts or whatever other kind of media it is. Your fleshly body, this is your me. Your I is outside of yourself, right? The I is the I am, I be. Y'all remember? I does not change. No beginning, no end, eternal. Okay, this is where the Father comes from, hermetically. Right? The Father deity. Your me, this is where the feminine energy, the hermetic mental feminine energy is related to me, like me, mine. Okay? Me is always growing, always creating, always changing. Okay, so their I overpowers your I. Because why? It's weak. And the feminine energy needs masculine energy to collaborate with, to create. It needs the will of the Father, the Holy Spirit. The feminine energy is the Holy Spirit, needs the will of the Father, that's masculine energy, to collaborate and to create, to manifest. Okay? So your subconscious mind is always changing your mood, always changing your behavior, your habits, your emotions, your hopes, your dreams, your desires. And if y'all think about this, if you follow trends, you're following somebody else's eye. Okay, so you need to make sure that it is your eye, your masculine mental energy that's collaborating with your feminine mental energy. You need to take that power back. Because right now, almost all of y'all are being brainwashed, but you don't know it. You're not aware that the thoughts you are thinking, your habits, even your aspirations, your daily moods, your emotions, all of this is coming from the hybrid's eye, their masculine energy. They put those seed thoughts into your subconscious mind. And you're not aware of it, and you're doing exactly what they want you to do. I'm talking about the Hermetic laws with you all. I'm telling you what is really happening and why you're really so effed up. That's why you're in a condition you're in. They are using nature against you. But you've got to take it back. You've got to develop through your will, through your decision, to sit down and read a book. Or you can come on this channel and I'll take you through the book. There's no way around it. Y'all know if you watch a video, you're not going to get the whole story. All right, a video is going to be what, 1, 2, 3 hours long. You're not getting the whole story. You're getting what the author likes or what the author wants you to know. And the author of the person who makes the video, they may not even know the topic. So you wind up believing what they're telling you and you see no evidence for it. All right, so now you're getting worked, you're getting played. Do y'all realize? Think about this. What do we know? We know that the hybrids gave us our heroes. They gave us our scholars. Right? And those heroes and scholars secretly push the hybrids paradigm. And by the way, another good example of someone else's eye, masculine mental energy, is the abstract paradigm, the Greek paradigm. In other words, y'all, maritime, Admiralty, Catholic, Christian, canon, law. The Judeo-Christian system, judicial system, the Greek or Western paradigm. Okay, that's their worldview. That's their masculine energy, their masculine eye, being imposed upon you. You know nothing about your Moorish American nationality, most of you. Absolutely nothing. And when you hear me say this, you may feel offended. You may say I'm Indian, or I'm black, or I'm African American. You might even, you might be so bad off that you say I'm Baptist, or you say I'm some religion. So you're totally disconnected from nature. You know absolutely nothing about law or international law. But everyone should know about nature and law. Why? Because law is nature. So you've got to make a decision whether you want to be a bondman or a bondwoman, or whether you want to be sovereign. Sovereignty comes from what? Living in harmony with nature, speaking your own law language, speaking your own jurisdiction, being in honor, staying in honor at all costs. This is what it's about. But you cannot escape learning. You cannot escape learning. Videos, that's a terrible way to learn, but y'all been conditioned for it. And the hybrids who control you, they will give you content creators to keep you in the dead state, the civilly dead state. All right, talking about black this and black that, African this and African that. Okay, those are not nationalities. Those are not ancient. Or talking about religion and religious doctrine. So you're getting played on multiple levels until you make a decision that you're going to break the spell. All right? You're going to focus on learning, reading, and learning how to read, learning linguistics, learning etymology, learning grammar and grammar rules. Okay, y'all? And having the discipline to sit there and do it. Y'all know why many people failed out of medical school when I was in medical school? Y'all want to know why they failed? Because they wouldn't sit down and study. They didn't have the discipline or the desire, the willpower to sit down and study. It's not that they couldn't pass. They just didn't have the willpower to do it. And so they got kicked out. They failed out. I had this one friend. Her name was Shamisa. I had a friend named Shamisa. Real nice. Real, not nice, but real good, kind young woman. And she used to always tell me that she needs to sit down and study. And I thought it was so funny because I'd never heard anybody talking like that before. And but she drilled it in my head. This idea about sitting down and studying. But it wasn't an issue for me because I had already gotten a graduate level degree, you know, had advanced education, worked and, you know, created and all kind of things. So medical school really wasn't that challenging for me. What was more challenging for me were the jealous and envious people that I had to deal with. But anyway, my message is you need to sit down and study. You need to get your mind right. All right? So that's what I do over here. I don't make documentaries. If I had somebody to make the documentary for me, that would be great. But I don't make documentaries. I'm an educator. I give you a real education. And that only happens through books, through reading, okay? Through learning how to think critically and using your analytical mind. It's the only way it happens, all right? Videos and documentaries are supplementary. They're supplementary, okay? That's all, supplementary. So if you want a real education, keep coming here. If you don't like the way I'm teaching, well, go somewhere else and watch a video, like a child. You know, bounce back watching videos and YouTube shorts, and then go quoting what you saw on the video like a child. We got to break out of that, y'all. Be men and women. Produce our own literature. Start reading books. Stop following these trends. Okay, because when you follow trends, you're being led. All right, so let's get into these zodiacal keywords. Y'all probably forgot. We're looking for self-undoing. All right, self-undoing. So give me a moment, please. Oh boy. One moment. Give me 1 second. Uh-oh, this is off topic, I think, but I just saw something. I want to go through it because it's kind of spicy. I'm on page 216, or at least it appears to be. I didn't read the whole paragraph. I just read one sentence. So let's see. I'm going to start at the first paragraph on page 216. In Apuleius, after 12, quote unquote, emblematic transformations. So these transformations begin, y'all, on page, they begin with Cephas. Let me see, is it Cephas? It begins with Cephas, okay? Then there's some discussion on page 214 about Perseus. When we move further down, there's a discussion about we know, I'm going to just read this, page 214. We know the various pagan mysteries were celebrated in this way, and Apuleius, which is 2nd century CE, has given us a very graphic account of a springtime. So springtime, you should be thinking vernal equinox. Whenever you think vernal equinox, you should think 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night. Okay, so that's equality and equity. Abstractly, that's justice, right? That's going to happen. There's 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of night twice a year at the equator, which is 0 degrees. The equator is the celestial equator, right? It's just Earth's equator, 0 degrees, projected outward into space. Okay? You should also think 23 degrees, 23.5 degrees north, which is Cancer, and 23.5 degrees south, which is Capricorn. Okay, so in other words, 23.5 degrees north is the Tropic of Cancer. There's 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of night once a year at both of the tropics, but twice a year at the equator. What else should come to your mind if you've been following my work? 23.5 degrees north, the Tropic of Cancer, 0 degrees, and then 23.5 degrees south, which is the Tropic of Capricorn. This is called the coffee belt. This is the most fertile land on the planet. It stretches across the entire surface of the earth. Okay, that's called the coffee belt. Why? Because that's where coffee grows. Clear? What else should you think when you think about this? The sun is at 90 degrees. The sun is at a 90-degree angle to the earth. So if you're standing on the earth, on the equinox, the sun will shine down. It'll be right over your head, just like this. Okay? Just like that. And there's no shadow cast. There's no shadow. Okay? What else should come to your mind? Well, Capricorn is the winter solstice. Cancer is the summer solstice. Y'all see that? Cancer, I believe it's June 21, June 22. And then Capricorn, December 21, 22. So summer and winter solstices. Y'all see it? and everything that goes along with that. So for example, the law of vibration, the law of polarity, the law of mental gender, the law of rhythm, right y'all? What else? The lesser law of transmutation, the lesser law of neutralization, and cosmic habit force. Okay? And all of these have remixes in religion. So we've covered this in this course. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't remember, go back and review it, okay, scholars? So springtime. Okay? So Apuleius from the 2nd century CE has given us a very graphic account of a springtime pageant. Springtime, what? Passover for the Jewish people. The sun is passing over or passing above Earth's equator, which is 0 degrees. Okay? So the sun is springing above Earth's equator, which is set at 0 degrees. For the Christians, they call this natural phenomena that they remix into religion. They call it Easter. Easter. Okay? Easter. Okay, so a graphic account of a springtime pageant in honor of the goddess Isis, Israel, Isis, Ra, and El. Okay, a pageant in honor of the goddess Isis in the golden ass, which was originally called metamorphosis or transformations. Okay, so again, this is another transformation. The hero Lucius means light. Okay, so when you think Lucius, you should think what? Lucius, what does it sound like? Luke Skywalker, light, illumination. Lucifer, also light. Okay? Who was changed into an ass instead of an owl by the application of the wrong magical potion, is eventually transformed back into a human Han Uman. Whenever you see human, think Han Uman until you get it in your mind clear. That Han Uman is a hybrid, half man, half chimpanzee. That a human is a monster according to law that cannot inherit land, although born from a woman. Why? Because it is a monster. Human is Han Uman. So we who are sprung from the soil, we are Moors, Moorish Americans if you have your nativity in North America. We are men and women. Okay, we are men and men with the womb. We are sons or sons with the womb. We're the rightful heirs of all land, all energy, cosmic and terrestrial. All resources, cosmic and terrestrial. All commerce and all contracts. We are the people. In the preamble of the Constitution for the United States of North America, we are the posterity. Our relationship to the U.S., the Republic, and the democracy, we are foreign nationals, not of the land, but to their jurisdiction, to their law language, to them, to their bloodline. We are foreigners. In other words, we're a separate bloodline. That's really what it's saying. We are a separate bloodline. Okay? We speak a different law language than they do. So that's why our ancestors put in the Constitution the diversity of citizenship clause. Okay? That Constitution is a trust document as shown or revealed in the preamble, and we are the beneficiaries. So all commerce associated with the U.S., the Republic, or the democracy, we're the beneficiaries of it. Y'all see? But you need to know that. You need to know who you are. Otherwise, you will be a bondman or a bondwoman. You will be a subject, a goyim. Chattel, cattle, a human resource. Okay? In a civilly dead state. Civilly dead state. You are in the land where the Raphaim go. Why? Because you're a heathen. You're a heathen. So you're going to go to the place where the Raphaim go, which is the land, the world of the dead underneath the waters. This is Admiralty Maritime law jurisdiction. There's a physical death and then there is a civil death. Y'all see how this works? Now you have no capacity to inherit or give an inheritance. And you corrupt the blood of the covenant. You corrupt the blood of the covenant through your heathen thinking and behavior. That's right, you're a heathen if you don't follow natural law. You are a heathen, and you will be treated as a heathen. Okay, but you can use the natural laws to move or to transmute yourself from being a heathen, a dishonorable, disgusting heathen. If you're in religion, I'm talking to you because that's all of y'all. You can move into honor, which is to follow the Most High's commandments, to follow his instructions. In other words, to return to nature and to live harmonically with nature. Stop worshiping these external deities. This is all it's saying. That's all. And to be honorable, don't harm anybody. And don't harm yourself. And to speak your law language. To live the culture, the heritage, the lifestyle, and according to the principles of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. All of that means don't harm anyone. Right? Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor your mothers and your fathers. Honor your ancient foremothers and forefathers so that it may go well with you in the land that the Most High is giving you. That's a trust and that's an estate. Right there. If you dishonor them, y'all need to go look up the etymological meaning of honor. Okay, we do this in the 506 curses, the 506, the curses class. You'll understand what that means. It's not what you think it means. All right? And once you are speaking your law language, y'all know what thought, man is thought, right? We went through this, man is thought. So therefore man is Allah, all law. The first law is the law of mentalism, all is mind. Right? Nothing happens without thought. Thought occurs with words, right? Not videos, words. In the beginning was the Word. Y'all hear? In the beginning was the Word. See, these are the mind sciences that are expressed in the New Testament. That's the value of the New Testament, not the religion, but it's the nature and the mind sciences. But you need to know something to be able to understand that. And it is not religion. It's not religious doctrine. You're lost in the sauce. What is thought? What is thought? Y'all think about that. What is thought? Where does thought come from? Thought comes from your ancient ancestors, passed all the way down to you. Okay? Hence, we hear expressions like generational curses. Okay? This is why things don't change between peoples. Thought is passed from generation to generation. Okay? That's what thought is. It's a collection of everything that your ancestors thought. And did. And now you got it. So y'all see why it's so important to follow the instructions of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. You see why it's so important? Anyway, let's continue. Man is all law. All law. Therefore, man can do what? Man can create using law. Man can, what's the word I want to use? Man has the power to do what looks like magic to people who don't know the law. So for example, you can arrest a law. You can make it look like the law is no longer in effect. But of course the law is still in effect because what? The laws are immutable. But you can counterbalance one law using another law. Y'all got it? You can counterbalance cause and effect using masculine mental energy and gender, vibration and polarity. You can counterbalance cause and effect, the law of cause and effect. Okay, so you become a master when you learn how to use one law against another as a counterbalance. And this is, y'all, how we get free, how we get our stuff back through the power of our mind, those unknown and unused faculties of the mind that y'all have been taught are wicked and evil. Now, why would the Most High give you faculties that are wicked and evil? Your religious people are going to say, oh, that's Satan. That's the demons. I got news for you. There's no such thing as a Satan, the devil. In fact, JC is Satan, is the Tetragrammaton. Summer solstice, winter solstice, here's the Christ, here's the devil. Here's the Christ, here's the devil. Summer solstice, winter, enlightenment, honor. A summer solstice, winter. A summer solstice is sun, right? A lot of sun, a lot of enlightenment, honor. The winter solstice is darkness. Bad things happen. People do evil in the dark. You take the D off of dark, put it in front of evil, you get devil. Okay? Law of polarity. This is the same thing, same nature. higher self, lower self, Christ, the devil, good and evil. Opposite ends of the same line. Extreme opposite ends of the same lines. Opposite, Satan in Ancient Ibaryath or Hebrew means opposite. Opposite end of the same line. But anyway, there's verses that I've shown. Y'all go back and watch some of my videos. I've shown verses to show the JC that they're the same. That's what it's saying here. This is a law of opposites. It's different only by degree. You can move up by what? The law of vibration. Low vibrational behavior, dishonorable behavior. Increase the vibration and you do what? You become more honorable. You move up into honor. The techniques or technologies or therapies to increase the vibration of thought allow you or enable you to what? Transmute up or down. Transmutation. Okay? Once you're polarizing, let's say in honor, you can stay there. So you polarize rhythmically in honor. Okay, this is when it becomes a habit. It's called cosmic habit force. So that the rhythmic swings of emotions, moods, all the changes that we usually go through, right, due to the law of rhythm, these are happening where? At the level of feminine mental energy, subconsciously, the level of the me. Why? Me is always changing. But when you're in honor, you're above that. And it doesn't affect you. So it's like you nullified the law of rhythm, but you didn't stop it. You just nullified it by being what? You're vibrating at such a high frequency, and your masculine mental energy is so high that it doesn't affect you. Y'all see? So let's go back to the text. We're on page 214. We're talking about transmutation, y'all. Transforming and transmutation. Okay, so the hero Lucius is light. For example, Luke Skywalker, and darkness, Darth Vader. Lucius, Lucifer, Darth Vader, darkness, evil, the constant battle between good and evil. Okay, y'all? The hero Lucius, who was changed into an ass, we read that. Let's continue. When he was subsequently initiated into the priesthood of Isis, all right, priesthood of Isis, in which ceremony he, quote unquote, approached the very gates of death. The gates of hell began somewhere around September 29, y'all, according to the devil's pulpit. Began somewhere around September 29, the gates of hell, okay? So he approaches the very gates of death and set one foot on Prosperin's threshold, yet was permitted to return. Wrapped through all the elements, he emerges from the sanctuary at dawn, quote unquote, wearing 12 different stoles, and it gives more on that. Page 215 talks about seasonal transformations. Seasonals, remember, the point of view is always North America, always the North Gate. North Gate, winter, summer, spring, fall, 4 seasons. Asia, Africa, etc., summer and rainy season, or wet and dry season. Clear, y'all? Orientation is always North America, the North Gate. What does that mean? What is that telling you? Take a moment to think about that. The orientation of astrology is North America, the North Cape. See, the ancient Egyptians did not originate astrology. They're just known because they built in stone. Okay? But they got their information from their ancient ancestors. Now, you've been taught that ancient Egypt is in Northeast Africa. They don't have 4 seasons. They don't have winter, summer, spring, and fall in Kenya, in Egypt, in Israel. They got wet and dry season. So what does it tell you? Use your common sense. Use your common sense if you dare. If you dare. Okay? And if you come to the conclusion that ancient Egypt and all of those ancient civilizations had to be in North America, what is the impact or the effect that that has on your religious document or your education in general? See, what are the implications? How do you explain what's happening here? See, these ancient peoples, our ancient ancestors, their whole life was guided by the Zodiac through natural phenomena. So how do you explain that? And that's not hidden. See, you'll read that in almost any history book, but they'll tell you it was religious worship. Whether it was religious worship, that's not, you didn't even have to deal with that. The fact that they were dealing with astrology and 4 seasons tells you, tells you that it had to be North America. Winter, summer, spring, and fall. Okay, you go down into Mexico. When I was there, they had summer, the fall got cool, but they don't have winter. At least I didn't see winter. When I was in South America, they had wet and dry season. You go up in Alaska, it's just winter. It's always cold. But actually, I don't know if this is true, but there are some people who, I've heard some people say that there are some tropical parts up in Alaska. But I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Okay? So that'll open your eyes about some things. So now let's continue. Okay. So the seasonal transformations of the variously named God of the mystery cults. So these mystery cults have been transmuted or converted into secret societies, y'all. Okay, so these variously named God of the mystery cults, the spirit of the year, were epitomized in the Athenian Linnea festival and the corresponding performances throughout the ancient world, including northwestern Europe. So when you think Europe, you should think what? You should be thinking Moors. The indigenous people of Europe. Okay, not hybrids. Okay, but Moors. All right, so give me 1 second, y'all. So I'm still looking for self-undoing. The initiate, that's the initiate into the secret society. The initiate identified himself with the god. and seems to have undergone 12 emblematic transformations, represented by Lucius' 12 stools. As he passed through the successive houses of the Zodiac before undergoing his ritual death and rebirth. Quote-unquote transformations therefore conveys the secondary sense of spiritual autobiography. Y'all should be thinking JC right now, right? He was given a what? A spiritual autobiography. And Lucius has spent 12 months in his ass's skin from from one world season to the next, constantly changing his house until his death as an ass and rebirth as a devotee of Isis. So they're giving y'all natural law, not just the death and rebirth, as in, you know, the next generation. But I won't say it. Y'all figure that one out on your own. Okay? Figure that out on your own. Now, I read all of this to get to this paragraph, page 216. It reads here, in Apuleius, after 12 emblematic transformations culminating in a symbolic death, an ass becomes a man. An ass becomes a man. Sound familiar? In the gospel story, which is, of course, by no means an exact parallel, that's important. The stories are not exact parallels. Otherwise, it wouldn't be hidden, right? You need to be able to decode. In the stories, the Gospels are not an exact parallel. The same series of transformations culminates in a quote-unquote symbolic death of the Christ, right? JC rides in on what? He's riding on a horse or an ass that no one has ever ridden, so it was unbroken. It was an unbroken horse or ass. Unbroken. What happens if you try to ride a horse that's been unbroken? What are they going to do? They're going to try to throw you off, right? Because horses and men, we're not natural buddies, okay? Nobody in their right mind is going to let you sit there and ride him. Okay, so the horse is going to try to throw you off and going to try to kick you in your head to kill you. So JC rides in on a horse, right? This is the Centaur or Sagittarius, half man, half horse, hybrid. Okay, then the symbolic death of JC on the cross, leading to a resurrected life, and to the initiates who would be watching the performance, would appear as a dramatic representation of the ultimate spiritual transformation. Y'all see that? As the old sun, S-U-N, goes to its death, that's going to begin when? At the summer solstice. The sun at the summer solstice around June 21 cannot go further north. It's reached its highest point in the northern part of space. It can either go horizontally, or it can go what? South. If it's going south, it's falling. If the sun is falling, that means the number of daylight hours are shortening. The number of nighttime hours are increasing. So Set, Horus brother Set, sunset, darkness, evil, is humiliating or overcoming the Christ. The number of nighttime hours are becoming more than the number of daytime hours. So Christ is being humiliated. And there's nothing JC or nothing the Christ can do about it. Why? Because natural law dictates that the sun from the summer solstice move southerly. In other words, the sun is going to fall. Hence we have what? The fall season. Okay? So it becomes fall. So when the sun, this is the celestial equator, which is a projection of Earth's equator out. So this is 0 degrees. So when the sun, my finger is the sun, when the sun falls below, or when the sun, let me be more specific. When the sun gets at 0 degrees, the sun is now at what? The equinoctial point. The equinoctial point. This is the fall equinox or the autumn equinox. The leaves on the trees in the fall begin to turn brown, well, yellow, right? And then brown, and then they fall off. Plants and vegetation begin to die, right? The temperature is getting colder. The nighttime hours are longer. The daytime hours are shorter. And then the sun will fall below the celestial equator. So when the sun moves from 0 degrees below the celestial equator, Christ is now crucified. The sun crosses below the celestial equator. Let me say it again. The sun crosses below the celestial equator. The sun has been crucified. Christ has been crucified on the cross. In the autumn, in the fall. Set, Horus's evil brother, okay, is humiliating Christ until finally we get to where? The winter solstice, December 21, 22, where finally Christ dies. Y'all got it? Christ dies. On December 21, 22. Why does Christ die? Because from December 21, 22, we count the days. 23, 24, 25. So for 3 days, there's no shadow cast on the sundial. So it appears that the sun is dead. But at 12 o'clock midnight, on December 24, 12 o'clock midnight, moving into December 25, 12 o'clock midnight, the sun moves 1 full degree north and a shadow is cast on the sundial. Now Christ has been resurrected. Okay? So Set kills his brother. Christ is humiliated and he gets crucified at the fall equinox. The sun crosses below the celestial equator. Okay, now the sun is dead in the underworld. Why? The underworld is what? The southern part of space. The sun can go no further south. There's only what? There's no end. There's no bottom of space. So this is the bottomless pit where there's this dense darkness. Okay, it's so cold that it burns. This is hell. Y'all see? And then the sun gets resurrected at 12 midnight, December 25. The end of December 24, the beginning of December 25, the sun gets resurrected. How do we know the sun is resurrected? Because the shadow on the sundial moves a full 1 degree. Okay? This is the same story of every major religion in the world. All are solar deities. All are telling that same story. Okay? The story of betrayal, humiliation, death and decay, and then a resurrection. Y'all got it? And then a resurrection. All right? So let's continue. And the same is happening in our lives. The same is happening with our lives. When you are in dishonor, you're in religion, Hebrew, Israelite, Christian, Muslim, whatever your religion, following religious beliefs and doctrines, you're in dishonor. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You are low vibrational in dishonor. But now you need to what? You need to transmute. Okay, so what's like nature through the law of cause and effect? You will see other laws are involved, but nature is going to punish you. These are the curses. Deuteronomy chapter 28, 15 through 68. You will be hit with curses. You will be escheated. You will be atturned. You will be attained. You will be hit with bills of attainder and bills of pains and suffering. What's the indicator? Race black. Okay, you've been set apart. Okay, legislation has been made specifically for you. Okay, to put you in a civilly dead state. Or to cause you lesser pains and sufferings. Now, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, you have to watch. Take this whole course. Take the whole course, and you'll learn what I'm talking about. Right now, I'm speaking to you about the Hermetic laws. I'm speaking to you about astrology and astrotheology. I'm speaking to you about what? Constitutional principles and the Constitution for the United States of North America. Okay, I'm also speaking to you about treaty law, diversity of citizenship that I mentioned before. These are the Most High's commandments, the essence of the Most High's commandments. Okay? So put two and two together. If you are offended because this is different from what your religion teaches you, let me say with all respect, continue learning, because I mean you no harm. And I'm sure that at some level, you know what I'm telling you is true. So you can move from being in dishonor. You can move from being the devil and Satan that you are. Okay, religion is the opposite of nature. Okay? Christ, the devil. Civilly dead or naturally dead, either one, and what? Alive, in full life. Honor and dishonor. Low vibration, high vibration. Y'all see what I mean? But you can move or transmute up into honor. Transmute yourself back into nature and start speaking your own law. You can do it. I just told you how. Okay? So let's continue. So we're dealing with spiritual transformation. Okay, so this symbolic death on the cross leading to a resurrected life, and to the initiates who would be watching the performance would appear as a dramatic representation of the ultimate spiritual transformation. What could be more powerful than you, scholar, transmuting from dishonor, betraying people who you have a duty and obligation to not betray, to you moving from religion and returning to the Most High? What could be a more powerful transformation than that? As the old Escheat sun goes to its death in Pisces, only to be reborn at the spring equinox. As the Israelites, Isis, Ra, and El, crossed the Red Sea before entering the Promised Land. As Jonah spends 3 days in the belly of a fish, 3 days Y'all got that? The sun dies for 3 days. There's no shadow cast on the sundial for 3 days. Christ dies, goes to hell or the underworld, all the solar deities for 3 days. And the belly of the fish, Pisces, right? Pisces. Only to be vomited out, transformed onto dry land once more. So the old carnal self, that's the lower self, that's dishonor. If you're in religion, okay, if you're a religion, you may think you're holy. No, you're carnal and you're dishonorable. So the old carnal self is crucified and the new redeemed person is born. You've been resurrected. Resurrected into what? You go from honor, from dishonor to honor. You go from civilly dead state to fully alive. Okay? Return to nature and speaking your jurisdiction. You know your nationality. You know who you is. You know your law language. Okay? Maritime Admiralty law, civilly dead state, dishonor, religion, all of them. Low vibrational. To what? In full life, fully alive, honor. The return to the Most High. The return to nature. Speaking your law language. Practicing love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Which is not harming anybody. Which is what? Exodus chapter 12, chapter 20, verse 12. We are following the instructions of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, which is what? In religion, y'all call it the Mosaic covenant. We're following the Most High's commandments. And when you don't, you corrupt the blood of the covenant. And when you get hit with that attainder, what are they going to tell you the cause is? The cause is for the corruption of the blood. Y'all got that? It is for the corruption of the blood. Okay? They just don't tell you the blood of the covenant or the blood of the contract. But if you think analytically, it is a Judeo-Christian legal system. All right? So when you corrupt the blood, what's the punishment for not following the Most High's commandments? Well, you lose your nationality, you lose your social and civil status, right? What else? You lose all your property. So in other words, you get denationalized and you lose your inheritance. Not only do you lose your inheritance, the land gets destroyed and you get kicked out. And now you're going to depend on what? On your enemy to give you everything. Water, electricity, food, clothing, everything. Why? Because your dishonorable behavior, worshiping these external deities to whom our ancestors knew nothing about and who never did you any good. When you're honest with yourself, you think they're doing you good is because you're afraid to admit the truth. You're trying to please them and serve them when they should be doing for you. Huh? You're trying to figure out what you didn't do, what you need to do, what extra, what you need to stop doing to please this deity so he'll help you. Right, y'all? They've never done you any good. And the good that you think they have done you, you did that yourself. But I know you'd argue me down. But that's why you're getting cursed, punished. Because you refuse to accept, even to be aware, and to accept the faculties that you have been given and all of the property, benefits, and faculties that you've been given at birth that you didn't pay for. You're born into a covenant of grace. Your family, your kinfolk, you didn't buy that. You did nothing to earn it. You did nothing to earn your eyesight, your sense of taste, the ability to love, to learn. You did nothing for it. Given to you, covenant of grace. You did nothing to earn your intelligence, your mental faculties, your hands, your body. You did nothing for it. It was given to you, a free gift. You're born into a covenant of grace. So when you talk about your mental faculties, these faculties that you are not aware of because you've been taught are evil and wicked, well, it is the ultimate disrespect to not first find out what they are, become aware of them, and then to use them fully. You don't need to pray to an external deity. You only need to find out what your powers are and then learn how to use them and then use them maximally. And in the process of doing that, you find out how to use these things with wisdom to solve or to do whatever problem you're trying to solve or to do whatever you're trying to do. Okay? That's it. Psalms 82:6. You are the power. You are all law. It's the greatest disrespect of yourself to go pray and wait for some external deity. Okay? Boy, I bet y'all calling me a heathen right now. And blasphemer and everything else. All right, so let's continue. All right. So next paragraph, page 216. This is the quote-unquote secret message of the gospel narrative. Y'all heard that? That's what I wanted to get into. This is the quote-unquote secret message of the gospel narrative. You ain't supposed to know this. You're on the outside of the house. A message which it shares with the dramas of the mystery cults of old. Okay, so in other words, Christianity, you all are taught in religion to run from paganism. Paganism is evil. That's what you're taught. It's drilled into you. So much so that you are afraid of it, afraid to even talk about it. In the religion I was in, people would not even read a book about the culture or the deities of other religions or nations of long ago, before Christianity. But what you find when you study and you learn is that Christianity is nothing but paganism. All of its ceremonies, rituals, and rites is nothing but paganism. They stole it. No wonder they don't want you to read it. Because if you read it, you're going to realize, wait a minute, all of this is pagan. They just stole this. None of it is original. Y'all heard? Okay, that a new kind of life, quote unquote, eternal life, quote unquote, resurrected life, is available to those who are brave enough to embrace the way of the cross. To embrace the way of the cross. Y'all know the way, what he's talking about. Way here is capitalized. The way of the cross. What is he talking about? Well, in my mind, I associate way with Mazzaroth, Zoad, the Zodiac, the pathway. The initial Christians were called what? The way. Those who observed the Zodiac, the Mazzaroth. Those who observed the stars, the Zodiac, the way. They were not called Christians first. They were the way. And then others began to call them Christians, so the story goes. Okay? The painful destruction of the ego and its appetites. Right? So in other words, your dishonorable character. Natural law will give you pain and suffering. Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68. Some of y'all will learn to accept it and live with it and enjoy suffering. Others, they don't want to suffer, so they're going to look at the pain and suffering. When it gets to a point where they can't take it no more, they're going to be motivated to make a change in their character. This is what's being spoken of here. All right? It reads here, this resurrected life, a painful destruction of the ego. What's the ego, y'all? The ego is your little bitty, tiny, weeny idea of who you think you are. Okay? It's always changing. So we're talking about the me ego, not the masculine mental energy. Okay? So in other words, you're going to suffer some humiliations. Your ego's going to be damaged. But will you listen to the signal that damaged ego, that humiliation, that those attainders, that those pains, that those bills of pains and sufferings, bills of attainment, are you going to listen to it and make a change, return to the Most High? Or are you going to continue in the religion, waiting on Jesus? Like the dog sitting on the porch, there's whining. He's whining because a nail is sticking him in his palm, in his paw. So he's whining. It hurts, it's uncomfortable. But the dog just lays there and whines. He doesn't move. Why? Because the pain is not intense enough to motivate the dog to move. So he's just going to whine and complain, just like many of y'all. Okay, just like many of y'all. You're going to whine and complain about all the religions and Hebrew Israelite and Christian groups, churches, camps that you went into, and they all bad, and you're just going to whine and complain because you haven't what? Received enough pain to make you get out of religion. Clear? All right. So the painful destruction of the ego and its appetites, right? Your appetite for gospel music, for Hebrew Israelite gospel music, for all of this disgusting stuff y'all watch on TV, and your disgusting, dishonorable lifestyles, your disgusting faith and dedication to an external deity. So you're going to lose all of those appetites. Okay, you're going to get a beat down. Some of y'all are already getting it. That's why you're here. Some of y'all are in process of getting it. So that the Christ spirit may come to birth. Now the Christ is not a religious Christ. The Christ is honorable behavior, enlightenment, knowing who you are, being in honor at all costs and at all times. Y'all hear me? That's all it is. Psalms 82:6. Look it up if you don't know what it means. Okay, as Balzac says in his novel Louis Lambert, quote, the resurrection is brought about by the winds of heaven. Y'all know what the winds are, right? The winds When you talk astrology, you're talking the seasons. The vernal equinox, the spring equinox, there are winds that are blowing. It blows what? It blows, of course, in the atmosphere. So it's causing what? It's warming up the atmosphere. The winds are blowing, but what else is it doing? It's evaporating the water on the surface of the ground. So if you have water just sitting there on the ground, a lot of bacteria, fungus, a lot of stuff can grow in there that's unhealthy for men and women and for animals. So the wind is blowing, and not only is it unhealthy, but it can keep the plants from regrowing. In other words, it can prevent the next generation from growing. So there are strong winds that blow to evaporate that water. So that water goes back into the atmosphere, okay? Onto the clouds. The clouds are water bearers. So this is a gust, or these are gusts of winds that are blowing in the springtime. Okay, gust of wind, gust, ghost, gust of winds. This is the Holy Ghost. Astrologically, the Holy Ghost. Okay, the gust of winds that are blowing during springtime. This is the Holy Ghost. Okay, I got that from the Devil's Pulpit, so y'all go back and read that. All right, so the resurrection is brought about by the winds of heaven, which sweeps the worlds. The angel born upon the blast saith not, quote, ye dead arise, end quote. No, he doesn't say that. He says, quote, arise ye living, end quote. Okay, so God is a God of the living, not the dead. The resurrection of JC, the resurrection of Jairus' daughter, are both awakenings from the sleep of the unlived life, which it is the aim of all spiritual systems to effect. Neither incident concerns a reanimated corpse. So in other words, this notion that a dead body is going to come back to life again doesn't have anything to do with that. All right, there's a footnote here. So I'm going to read it. I'm on page 28. So the sense of resurrection as quote-unquote freedom might well be contained in the incident with Barabbas. This is Mark 15, 16 through 15. Barabbas in Hebrew and Aramaic means quote-unquote son of the Father. So there is the implication that the one who is released from all shackles is a true son, S-O-N, of God, capital G-O-D. The dramatic context is not to be taken literally, and there was certainly no custom of releasing a prisoner at Passover time. So I didn't see what I was looking for. Let me continue moving on. I'm trying to make the connection between self-undoing. That's what I'm looking for, y'all. Give me one moment. I found it. Okay, so page 217, we see self-undoing. They're giving the story, this is in the second paragraph down. They're giving the story of Judas, Judas's treachery. Mark chapter 14, verse 10 and 11, right? Judas wanted the money. Okay, so that was his undoing. Nobody made him do it, he did it himself. Self-undoing. Why? Greed. Dishonor. Dishonorable behavior. He was willing to harm JC the price figure to gain what? To gain some silver. What's the natural law? Don't harm anyone. All right? Okay, so the apostles sleeping at Gethsemane at Mark chapter 14, verse 40. They fell asleep when JC told them don't sleep. They should be what? Praying for strength. So that led to their undoing, right? Or at least, was it Peter who denied the Christ, right? He didn't have the strength. Okay? So the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Mark 14:38. JC's words to his sleepy companions epitomized the tensions inherent in this sign. The Gethsemane episode is, in fact, a dramatization of the Piscean lesson for the spiritual seeker. So again, what does this spiritual mean in Christianity, right? Where is there a specific meaning of spirit or spiritual? The pain which inevitably accompanies the end of any cycle has to be encountered. All right, y'all? Evasion, denial, or sleep cannot lift us to the next phase of our existence. So when you evade something, when you deny something that's true, right? So you evade something that you obviously need to deal with. That's going to lead to your undoing. You need to deal with it. All right? So why are you evading it? Because you're scared. That's low vibrational, dishonorable behavior. So you need to do what? You need to transmute to the opposite of being scared, right? Which is what? Bravery or courage. Okay, now you get into the what? Law of vibration, which is low frequency, high frequency, transmutation, right? The lesser law of transmutation, silver method, other techniques to help you transmute, and then what? Polarity, right? Well, the whole thing is polarity. The law of opposites is law of polarity. But you polarize rhythmically. The law of rhythm, you polarize rhythmically in honor, or what? You begin to focus on just being brave, doing things that are brave. And then that becomes what? Cosmic habit force. That allows you to what? Neutralize those situations, etc., and incidences that would have in the past caused you to what? Become scared. So now you have neutralized. You've neutralized the law of what? Cosmic, I just said it, rhythm. The law of rhythm. You've neutralized it. Why? Because you are polarized rhythmically in honor. Now it's a habit, cosmic habit force. So you're above, your vibration, your frequency is so high that it's above the low frequency stuff that caused you to be afraid. Y'all see it? How did you do it? Well, masculine mental energy is heavily involved in that. In other words, the law of gender. So everything I just told you, I know I went through it quickly, but y'all learn it on your own. You got to practice this stuff. You got to do it. All right? So evading something, a problem that you need to deal with. Denying, maybe you need to get away from your father. Maybe you need to get away from your mother. Maybe it's a woman in your life. You need to cut all communication, all ties with them because they're toxic. They're going to be your undoing. But it'll be your fault because you're responsible for you. Okay? Or your sleep. Sleep, stuck in religion, don't want to let it go because you're scared, etc. Okay, so these things will keep you in dishonor and being punished. In other words, you're going to continue to be hit with the curses. Deuteronomy 28:15 through 68. All right, so there we have it. We were able to find the undoing. I hope you all appreciate what I'm doing here, showing you the convergence, the synergies, and the remixes of the Hermetic laws, astrology, astrotheology, constitutional principles, bills of attainder, bills of pains and sufferings, all of these things, putting it all together for you. Mythology, y'all saw we went through a lot of mythology. Okay, linguistics, we did linguistics, right? We did etymology. All of this together, it's what? Philology. So we deal with this in our Saturday class. Every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we go into greater depth, more detail. Okay, Saturday, 10 a.m., y'all show up. Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, but if you don't do anything, at least subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath class. Okay, it's like $10 per month. You can cancel at any time. There's no contract, but you need to begin to learn etymology, get you some vocabulary. And see, once you get this information, you're taking your mind back. Okay, you are 1, 2, 10, 100 steps closer to returning to the Most High by following His commandments. Y'all hear me? All right? So that's what I put it there for. So y'all use it. You know, I wish I had 10,000 people subscribe to the course. I really do. I really, really do. You will see with your own eyes how you've been played by these Bible translators and your religious leaders, your preacher, your moray, your general, your captain, your officer, whoever teaching you the Bible. Some of them don't know, many of them do know, but they're not telling you. You'll see how words, connotative meaning of words have bound you and put you in slavery because you don't know anything about etymology. You know nothing about ancient Hebrew or ancient Ibaryath. So it is through your ignorance that you are being dominated. And when you subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course, you're going to see the kind of tricks they've played with you with these Bible translations. For me to sit here and tell you, you might not believe me. But you take the course, you see it for yourself. You'll see how changing the meaning of a word or changing a letter in a word is used to totally change the meaning of an entire verse. You're going to see lies and deceit with your own eyes. Things that you right now, you would not believe are true. Okay, and that's just the fact. That's just the fact. All right, so Islam to all the Moors. I'm Dr. Yusapa from Zion Law School. I have links to many of the Ancient Ibaryath books that I have written. I cannot express or recommend more highly than y'all go out and buy the Ancient Ibaryath books, study them, come to class on Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can learn. You owe it to yourself. Sitting around watching videos, documentaries, that's not going to free you mentally. If it would, you'd already be free mentally. You'd already know who you is, but you don't. A lot of y'all still arguing about, are we Moors and Indians and all of this foolishness? Or are we African Americans? It's foolish. You go look in a law dictionary. Look up the word land. Okay? Look up the word land and you will see more. So Moors are land. Then you go into your Bible. Look in Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. You'll see that the man was made from what? The dust of the ground. All right? So if you're made from the dust of the ground, you are a Moor. You are land. You're land made manifest. If you're not that, you're a hybrid. You're a hybrid. Okay? So maybe a lot of y'all who are arguing these things, maybe you are hybrids. I don't know. It's not about a club or a religion or organization. See, we deal with law. Nature is law. The book of the law, y'all hear that? Book of the law. What law? Well, your religious people will say God's law or the Most High's law. No, it's just called the book of the law. It is not the book of the Tetragrammaton's law or the book of the Elohim's law. No, book of the law. How do you explain that? Because it's the law. The law is what? The law is natural law. That's all. You don't need to put the book of natural law. Why? Because the law is a law. The laws that govern the universe. Material things is part of the universe. Consciousness, that's part of the universe. All is mind. All right? So let me suggest to you, don't argue with people about whether you are a Moor or an Indian or African American or whether you are from Kemet. All people sprung from the soil are Moors, the original or autochthonous or indigenous peoples of the land. Now, why do you need to fight? Let the law guide you. This is internet. This is law, ancient and modern. But you need to know what's in the book of the law, because all of our people are messed up in the head over this religion. All right? And all of them are coming out of and dependent on the book of the law. Islam to all the Moors. I'm Dr. Yasapo from Zion Law School. Shalom.